Sam Sulik, who, by the way, this guy, 21 years old. 21. Again, not a bad guy. It's just the copycat effect that worries me.
I've said this before, but chest day is always kind of nice. Because when you're done, especially if you do some fly-based movements too, right? When you're doing a fly, you got tension on your arms.
Look at the size of him. And he's only 21 years old. That is incredible. But how many fucking steroids are you pumping into your ass, mate? Like, to get that big, I reckon you're not even using a needle. You're just fucking using those vials as suppositories. At 21 years old, you haven't finished growing. And this is why this is dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous for a lot of different reasons and for anyone at any age, particularly when you're using it without, medical assistance.
So you're basically saying that you're just dating me because I can buy you things?
Yes.
I knew my family would have advised against me marrying Anfisa, but I still did it anyways. We've been married for 6 months, and it feels good.
Why are you saying it like that?
How?
I hate being married to George.
I think that a lot of people don't like to admit it, but everyone loves a good train wreck. If that weren't true, traffic wouldn't slow down on a freeway when there's an accident on the other side of the median. But for me, I really love watching a good, disastrous relationship. I loved it when shows like Jersey Shore were on the air, even though that show was fake. I love seeing it on MTV's True Life, and I like to indulge in watching a relationship burn in the modern day. So I have a show that I've been waiting to talk about for quite a while called 90 Day Fiancé, which I think is perfect marketing from the Learning Channel. They have found a formula that literally guarantees that the relationships will be destructive and therefore interesting to watch. The premise of this show is that these couples get a visa and have their future spouse fly over to America all on their own dime. TLC pays for none of it. They don't even pay the people on the visa because it's illegal, and despite the popularity of the show, American cast members only get like $1,000 an episode. After they get their visa, they have 90 days to decide if they're going to get married or be deported. And the American partners are supposed to wonder, are they in it for the green card? Yes, they're in it for the green card. All of them are. I mean, they aren't even getting paid for the show. Why would you even have to ask that? We get it, though. You can't afford a high-status partner from America, so you're rummaging through the discount bin from another country to see if you can get a good deal on a spouse. I mean, this show is so transparent on that point that you can tell who the foreigner is just by looking.
You know what that proves? I don't have to be angry just to make a mad move. I rap, sing, kick more when I'm calm to chat to. But if you wanna act up, that's cool, cause I can act too. You blinked a millisecond too long, open your eye up. You ain't ever seen no real darkness, you're a liar. Career mode quick, but before we retire, we forgive what the yardies give to cut to the fire. Yeah, you look like I can see through your attire in a combo with a seller and a buyer, saying if the money lands, then we should go and light the buy up. Need a break, but I'ma settle for a new char and a fire, cause I'm tired. Still jump on the bus or underground to keep me wired. Had to cut the.
I'm not British, I'm Australian.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I've got a good question for you, right? I want to ask you a question, okay?
What?
So, what makes you think you're in the position to be acting Prestige, you donkey-ass looking saggy tit motherfucking jollof eating fucking long-nosed bitch?
You thought you were funny?
Your eyes are in different postcodes, you ugly sluzzer.
Oh, you thought you ate. He's crazy.
I did it. Trust me. I'm not British, I'm Australian.
Oh, that's...
Wait, time out. Why the fuck is everybody spamming in my chat? Will. Why the fuck is everybody in my chat spamming Will? Why are they spamming it? So chat, the fact nobody tells me, every time I eat chicken or watermelon, y'all always spam well. What the fuck is y'all trying to say? Wait, time out.
Also, are you good? Huh? What? Why?
What do you mean, why?
Is it true that I'm getting the comments?
Yeah.
Let me see the video.
I don't have a video, I just have a picture.
Is it on your phone?
Yeah.
I can't.
Don't show.
No, I'm not. Oh my god. Fuck's sake.
Come in.
Huh? Oh. You just got all your... How have you gone and done that?
I didn't mean to.
Fuck. Oh, yeah, you might as well start up on Earth again. Also. Are you good? Huh? Oh.
Don't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away and slam the door.
Keep going.
Anymore, you treat me like a wolf.
How?
When you...
You treat yourself like one.
How? But you...
How? But you...
Let me see that. My head. The lump in my head.
Yeah.
Look in the light. Look in the light.
Oh my god, you got lump like this now?
Butter. Egg, mix. Cream, mix. Salt, pepper, mix. Remove from heat. Serve. Garnish with parsley. Garnish with and enjoy. Butter.
Drop it like it's hot. DJ turn it up from the bottom to the top. When you see me in the club, the party on lock. DJ turn it up, rock your body, don't stop. When I step into the club. Can I?
Don't be misunderstood. Get in there, guys. We're getting
The house of nails. The house of nails.
Modine! Modine! You're right. Nice to meet you. My name's Karina.
He's gonna have a debut now.
Oh no! Where'd the shield go? I don't know. Yeah, it's behind you.
Newcastle is one of the best, if not the best, 1v3 legend in all of Apex Legends, a true S-tier legend that sadly nobody plays. But with the Seer meta finally gone and the shotgun buff that is absolutely nuking everybody, I want to break down several 1v2 and 1v3 clips here as a top 5 Newcastle to try to convince you to play Newcastle in your next game of Apex Legends. I'm going to break down all these clips, my thought process, when to use abilities and when not to. So normally here, I would stick the res and then cancel it when an enemy pushes me. However, the Maggie just decides to mag dump me here, and it's just a quick 2-pump. This next clip right here, we're going to break it down. This is going to end up being a third party in some of the things that we kind of have to decide upon when to use our ultimate and where to position ourselves. But first, who should be playing Newcastle? Because why not just go back to Gibby? And personally for me, Newcastle is the more aggressive of the two legends. Gibby is still a great legend, especially after the buff he received to his ultimate, but Gibby is more of a true defensive legend. Newcastle, more mobile, more aggressive, and that's how he should be played. So right here, we're going to finish up that one fight. We have a third party that rolls in. We're going to drag our teammate down. We're going to get everybody healthy. The ultimate is great for situations you want to kind of pin somebody in and force them in a really weird route. Having the mobile shield with your ultimate is really nice here because I'm able to just get a really nice one clip on this Maggie because she's just stunned. And after that, you're just playing the shield as best as you can, peeking in and out of it, and just trying to do your best to stay alive, and we're able to do so.
Oh, fuck.
We found the craziest rotation in Apex Legends. What? What? Right? It gets better.
Are you Ubo, you're taking it?
I'm taking it, I'm taking it.
Are you Ubo taking it? No, we're not.
Look at this rotation, dude.
Team, that's what I think.
We found the craziest rotation in Apex Legends.
Man, imagine saving just like the turtles. And then pop it up. Hey! Yes, dude.
Wide swinging without him reacting in time, but
Yeah, you thought fucking wrong. You trash. You fucking suck.
you're black.
And? What then? Say some more. Come on, keep going.
And I'm black too, so who
No,
gives
you're
a
not.
fuck?
You're not black. Say it. Say the word. Say the word.
I can't. Bro.
Exactly. Come on now.
My mom, no, my dad's black, and my mom's white.
Are you racist?
Everyone.
Because I stepped her with a racist.
Ray, shut up, would you? Holy shit! I'm trying to have a civil conversation with my friend Sky.
Racism is a trigger for me.
Racism is a trigger for me, and you're
my
muted. Shut up, would you?
Generational
Thanks.
trauma.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I have you, but. Are you unmuted? Are you done?
Why are you talking like that, dude?
Are you done, Mr.
I'm
Lulu?
not
trigger me?
Okay.
If you're a fan of Fred again, Pink Pantheress, or one of my next single, Numb, maybe for you. Let me know what you guys think.
I thought you said you had a busy day today. Yeah, I'm in ADHD paralysis. What's that? My brain physically won't let me do anything. What caused it? Sometimes nothing causes it, but today it's because I have a package that's coming at 8 p.m. You can't do anything before that package comes. Yeah, I like to call it my waiting mode. You're not just being lazy? No, my brain's currently going like 1,000 miles per hour telling me I should be doing things, but can't. I need to find a new name for ADHD. Why? Turns out they don't actually have a deficit in attention. They just can't regulate it. That explains the hyperfocus. Seems to be more of a regulation issue. Like with their sleep, it's either too much or too little. Everything they do is kind of just all or nothing. And they're only either understimulated or overstimulated. They lack dopamine. So what about dopamine?
Are you guys having a good Halloween? Sorry, I had to hit that oxygen tank real quick. I'm fucking dying. Fuck. I'm used to being 6 foot underwater, not fucking rhino something. I forget the fucking times. I don't know, something like that. That one time we got jumped. That other time on Halloween. Yeah, we've come to Denver like 8 fucking times. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Let me ask this. Who in this motherfucker has seen us perform before?
I dreamt about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can you keep? 'Cause there's this tune I found that makes me think of you somehow. When I play it on repeat until I fall asleep, spilling drinks.
If you break a mirror,
Shit came in. It's just me and my gang. Fuck niggas, we don't do friends. What he say, we smoke, we gon' spin again. I've been trying to get the money, I've been trying to feed my fan, cause the niggas they don't wanna see me win. I was thinking about the roller, but I win it cause the richer than I'm winning for my mama and the Benz. I get it in the piss sweet fucking 2 twins. I thought about the Glock, but I went up and in. And a nigga spinning shit without a pen. I called Jimmy, kicking with the Billy. We already ran up a million. So that shit ain't really interesting. Nah, he had a line, he get a penalty. Said he started hoes lined up the trends.
La chanson. Mais le début. Capcom.
You guys told me I was right in part 1. Let's try part 2. Things guys want you to do without having to ask you to do it. Number 1, compliment him. Our men nowadays are severely devoid.
Looking at the couples. So guys, let's play a game in the comment section.
Oh boy.
I'm going to
What is
show
up,
you
bro?
a few pictures of couples, and you tell me your answers of which partner you think is a foreigner. Let's try the first couple. Who is on a visa? Molly or Lewis? Got your answer? Next, tell me. Which one of these two is in it for the green card? Alexandra or Josh? Nicole or Azan? Who is rummaging through that discount bin to find a spouse with a higher number? Do you think Muhammad is the American, or is it Danielle? Last one. Colt or Larissa? Which one of them is pretending to enjoy the sex? Alright guys, pencils down. Let's get to our main couple, George and Anfisa. Anfisa is a female entrepreneur / ex-cam girl from Russia who wants to live the American dream. George is a pot dealer from Reeferside, California, who said he would buy Anfisa anything she wanted when she moved to America.
When George asked me to come to the States, he promised to get me whatever I want.
Or whatever makes you happy.
I'm beautiful and I like nice clothes, nice shoes, nice purses. So I expect him to pay for all that. I want more shoes, more bags, more. I want a car.
There has to be a limit.
10,000 per month?
Don't make me laugh.
And I guess we're not getting
Be
married.
reasonable.
What about price point? What are you comfortable with?
What is your most expensive dress?
Our most expensive dress would be $45,000.
Is that okay?
You keep wanting more and more. Like, when is the end?
Never.
After you want something, you're gonna want something else. And after you get that, you're gonna want something else.
Yeah?
Like, there's never gonna be an end to it.
Now, after seeing all this, you might ask, why would George put up with her? She's not attractive, and she's definitely not worth $10,000 a month. I mean, if she was like a 10, I could see why George wouldn't just kick her to the curb. So really, none of this makes sense. But then, I found something that better explained the situation, and to the handful of women watching this, you should pay close attention. This is how ugly plastic surgery makes you look. Take a look at these before and after photos. On the left, we see a pre-plastic surgery Anfisa, who is a strong 8 or 9 out of 10. On the right, we see a post-Botox Anfisa, who has lowered her number to a 7. The big Botox lips ruin the symmetry of her face, which makes her look like a clown. And that is always the case with Botox. Botox looks gross, and men don't like it. That, plus a little weight gain, and by the time she's married to George, she brings herself down to a 5 or a 6. Keep in mind that when this was filmed, she was in her early 20s. Now, if you were to watch any videos on George and Anfisa, and then also read the comments section, you will see that many people are saying that she is virtuous because she's honest about her gold-digging behavior, and George is the bad guy for not meeting her demands. And they were partially right. George did lie about his wealth, but she's not honest either. By her own words, the deal was that he would give her money and she would be attractive.
So basically you're saying if I can't provide, I'm worthless to you.
I don't understand what's wrong about it. If I was ugly and fat, would you be dating me?
But she didn't hold up her end of the bargain. After she moved, she got Botox and fake boobs, which again, ladies, lowers your number. You are spending money on and going through painful surgeries for stuff that makes you look less attractive. So she got fake boobs, Botox, and then gained a bunch of weight. George originally bargained for a 9, but by the time they were married, he ended up with a 5. That makes her a liar. And even if she didn't make a bunch of choices that made her look less attractive, just because she was honest about her intentions doesn't make her actions right. If a killer is honest about murdering people, does that absolve him of his crimes? I wonder if the women enjoying Anfisa's honesty also call men pigs who openly say that they are only interested in a woman for her looks. Outside of that, for those of you who are unaware, this is the kind of person Anfisa is.
What? She keyed idiot into the driver's side door. She broke phones, plural. I tried calling her. She erased my phone. That's her. Hello?
Where are you?
That's just an attention thing, I feel like. I'm pulling over.
Why did you leave? Tell me you got
What do you want? She's calling me up and texting me and trying to FaceTime me and see where I'm at and trying to control every move that I do. Hello? What's the problem?
You were going out and you're coming back.
Well,
What?
what? What are you doing? This is the kind of I have to go through all the time. What is the problem? I am coming back. I am coming back now.
Because I think I deserve more than 50%, no matter when we divorce. I think I deserve everything, and he's not going to take it from me.
He doesn't want to take on debt, but then yet spends my money.
So what?
I'm not gonna screw myself over just because you want to be happy. I'm agreeing to certain things.
Nothing changed.
I think you're too immature to know this.
So what? Don't smile at me like that.
I'm telling you, it's not.
Tell me what?
Huh? I'm telling you that it's.
Tell me what?
Now you can talk all about how they edit reality TV.
Most of you probably know me from a reality TV show, and I'm sure you know that these kind of shows are heavily edited.
But no matter how they edit this show, if I was in a relationship with her and she broke 2 of my phones, did a factory reset on my phone because she was mad, screamed now at me, keyed my car, or hit me, if she did just one of those things, then the relationship would be over. Clever editing didn't make it seem like she did that. She actually did those things. Now, on the topic of Anfisa's recent behavior, since her husband was arrested for driving with nearly 300 pounds of weed in his car, she has lost weight and allowed her Botox to wear off, which raises her number back up a little bit. Curious though, she says she hates being married to George, and as soon as he is gone in prison, she starts making herself look more attractive. I'm sure you guys know what she's planning to do, especially considering they have already been married long enough for her to still get permanent residency, even if they get a divorce, all the while being supportive of George during his time of need. Anfisa is weighing her options. Should she stay with George or leave him? Judging by her recent decision to become a competitive bodybuilder, it looks like she wants to leave him, but her actions support both games, whether she is trying to monkey branch or not. Tom Likas would call this investing for the future. Women will pay for a few dates up front to rope you in, and then, once you're hooked, expect you to pay for absolutely everything. She spends $200 on a few dates, and then gets tens of thousands of dollars spent on dates in return. If you try to call her out on it, she will just refer back to the beginning of the relationship and say, "Oh, I'm a gold digger? Don't you remember that one time when I paid for a date 3 years ago?" If George is the best Anfisa can get, then anytime he calls her a gold digger, she can just bring up the fact that she was nice to him while he was in prison and rope him back in. She will use that as blackmail on him for years. She might even throw in the "I do everything for you and you do nothing for me" cliche. Just because someone was nice in the past and paid for something doesn't mean you are currently exchanging equivalent value. That's like paying a contractor for one job and then expecting him to do all of his future jobs for free. Now, if Anfisa goes the other way, decides she wants to leave George, and that causes her legal issues, then she can point out that she cared for him when he was in jail, so she didn't just marry him to get a green card. This is all her playing the game. She's already shown us who she is, and that kind of person doesn't magically flip into a saint in 2 years' time, particularly when there's no benefit in doing that. So why is George putting up with this? Why won't he just leave her? Why didn't he leave Anfisa during the show? It's not like he wasn't warned about her behavior.
Honestly, I believe that she thought she was coming here to the U.S. and that you were going to give her every single thing that she asked for.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you pay for somebody to spread their legs.
I knew my family would have advised against me marrying Anfisa, but I still did it anyways.
People have told him how this whole thing is going to play out, and he is not unaware of his situation. So I want you guys to pay close attention, because when you see a guy like maybe one of your friends walking right into an obvious trap, this is why. I want you to think of George like a heroin addict. If someone is addicted to heroin, it doesn't matter how many times you tell them it's bad for them, they are still going to do heroin. George is an addict. He is repeating a destructive behavior despite the negative consequences. Why? Because he likes being stepped on by women.
Anfisa's very controlling. She likes to be bossy. And I kind of like that. I kind of like her firmness of, her standing her ground, but I also stand my ground too. So, that's where conflict comes into play.
Believe it or not, there are actually a lot of rich guys who are into this. There's a really interesting episode of Joe Rogan with Sierra Lynch where she talks about how guys would pay her so they could watch her waste their money shopping online. Now, understandably, some of your more normal friends may not be into the sub-dom culture, but it's still a variant of this. If you know someone who is in a terrible relationship and they stay with that partner, they are doing it because they're an addict. We measure addiction by negative consequence, and there are all kinds of bad things that can happen to you when you're in a relationship with an abusive partner like Anfisa. Now, of course, if you see a friend in danger, then as a good friend, you can warn them. You would be a terrible friend if you saw your friend walking towards a cliff and didn't try to stop him. You can give him the tools to avoid the negative consequences, but if he ignores your warnings, then the only thing you can do is let his addictive behavior cause him to fall. And that might mean some pretty disastrous things. It might mean jail. It might mean losing half of his stuff. It might mean paying 5 years of alimony. It might mean paying 18 years for a kid that's not his. It might mean becoming homeless. Oh well, that's what he's chosen, and if you try to get in the way of his failure, you will only make it worse. For example, let's say you have a family member who is an alcoholic and they lose their home. You say, no problem, just come live with me. By doing that, you have just removed the consequences of their bad decisions, so instead of saying, wow, I see the errors of my ways, they're going to say, great, I don't have to pay rent anymore, so I can afford to drink. George from 90 Day Fiancé is experiencing that now. His relationship with Anfisa has had negative consequences. He is currently in jail. And who's to say that he didn't make that mistake with his medical marijuana business because he was trying to rake in more cash to meet Anfisa's demands? Now, he has already been warned, so if someone helps him, like posting bail or becomes his emotional tampon for all his problems with his wife, then he will just say, great, I have all the support I need, so I don't have to make any changes. And that's how the cycle works. That's why these people won't listen to reason. That's why every addict is in denial. They need strong negative consequences before they will make any changes. You can help people who want to be helped, but if they refuse you, then the best thing you can do is shut up and don't support them when they are hurt by their bad choices. Otherwise, you will make them worse. But that's enough for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment and share. If you would like to support this channel, then you can do so with PayPal, Patreon, or Subscribestar. All of those links are on my channel page and in the description. If you have not checked out my BitChute channel yet, then you can also find it on my channel page or in the description of this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
She saves more than $60 a month on her electric bill.
I'm not allowed to take long showers because Stephanie wants to save water for the water bill. I don't really get to watch my full body.
Turn it off!
To keep her water bill down, Stephanie found a way to make sure Patrick sticks to a 2-minute shower.
Right now, Patrick!
We do not have to be cheap. We really don't. She has money, I have money.
That was awful. Look, this woman is so cheap that she reuses boiling water. How much water is that? 5 cents? You don't have 5 cents? You probably wasted 5 cents of time pouring that stuff into a different container so you could wash the pot. Then she goes and feeds food out of that gross water to her kids. Worse, if her boyfriend doesn't follow her stringent rules, she yells at him. What kind of man would put up with this nonsense and then have 2 kids with her? Listen to this. She openly admits that she only cares about herself.
My family feels that my cheapskate ways are out there, but I don't really care.
Such a wonderful partner this woman Stephanie is. Isn't she terrible? Except for one thing. This whole show is fake. Entirely fake. Stephanie and Patrick are actors, and there is no way anyone is that bad. No one is going around their house carrying around a single light bulb so they can save a few bucks on electricity. If you are financially intelligent, you'll know about a thing called opportunity cost. When you spend all of this extra work just to save a few cents, you are losing tons of money by not spending that time investing in yourself or working an actual job. If it takes you an hour to go to the store because you are busy saving money by picking all the grapes off the vine and unpeeling bananas, then I, who only spends 10 minutes at the store, am going to have vastly more time than you to produce well. Opportunity costs are a major thing that keeps people poor. But that's not how I know this show is fake. Sure, this stuff is ridiculous, but a lot of people do completely ridiculous things. The primary way you can tell this show is fake is because of the acting. I've taken a few acting classes in my day, and one thing I can tell you is that mimicking real emotions is actually pretty difficult. Humans are very good at determining authenticity because our survival depends on it. So actors who can play characters believably are typically people who are on screen making a good living. There aren't endless amounts of good actors for reality TV shows to just thumb through. Watch this next clip of Patrick. He invited his friends over for a football party and is explaining the rules of the house.
Come on! Hey. This is the second time you did that! I gotta save money for electricity! I'm sorry! I have to turn it off when it's a commercial. No, they having this.
So the only reason I would ever believe that these people came to this party was so they could be on TV. How do you know when the commercials are over when the TV is off? People aren't going to go to a party where they miss half the game because of that. You can also see that Patrick is so out of character that he is almost laughing while he says it. There are several times where both him and Stephanie do that. Once you see that, you'll start noticing all the ridiculous stuff in this segment. Like the people at the party have to carry a candle to go to the bathroom because there's only one light on in the house. Isn't that candle more expensive than a light? But Stephanie is supposedly so cheap that she won't even buy cotton swabs. You think that she wants to spend money on matches or lighters to light that candle every time someone uses it? Also, if it's nighttime and you only have one light bulb, how do you see the light fixture well enough to screw in the light bulb? I guess they use the candle for that? Wouldn't it be vastly easier and less time consuming to have the lights already installed and then just turn one off as you turn another on? Anyway, since I cover a lot of reality TV, this has been a highly requested video. Especially because I recently dropped a video that I was almost done with because I found out that a crucial part of the story was lied about. We'll get into it, but first, if you like the content you see on this channel, then consider making a donation. Viewer support helps keep me independent, and it helps fund a lot of the quality improvements that I make on this channel. Links to my PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar pages can all be found in the description. And also, don't forget to support me on Alt Tech. Links to my BitChute channel, my Minds page, and my Parler page can be found in the description as well. Now, before I talk about the show I dropped and a different huge case of misrepresentation from an extremely popular show, I would like to expand on this idea of proper affect. Affect is your emotional state. The difference between a good actor and a bad actor is that good actors can accurately mimic real affect. Bad actors can't. You can see tons of examples of bad acting on daytime TV. Here's an example from the Steve Wilkos show.
Here's your girl, Kimberly. Not that long.
I'm not crazy. You're the one that made me crazy.
How do I make you crazy?
Look at all the messages, Tyrese.
What messages?
What messages between you and your coworker?
Whatever. I do what I want.
That's not how real people act. She is way too emotional for someone who just stepped out onto a stage in front of a bunch of people she doesn't know. You expect me to believe that both of them are completely comfortable hashing out personal drama in front of a live audience? Neither of them are even nervous. There is no withholding of emotions or fear of public speaking like there would be with real people. I will note that Steve Wilkos was one of the security people on Jerry Springer, which is another fake show. Does this mean that every daytime talk show is fake? No, but if you can't tell that these people are actors, then that's a problem. Because if you can't determine which emotions are real and which emotions are not real, you're going to have a very hard time telling if people in your life are lying to you. Just to drive my point home on proper emotion, allow me to show you some examples from past material that I've used. Speaking of TLC, and not every show on TLC is fake or entirely fake, one of the shows I covered is called My 600 Pound Life. I think this show is a perfect example because we can see the contrast of someone who is experiencing real emotions versus when that same person is trying to fake those emotions to appear interesting. This episode of My 600-Pound Life follows Maya and Christian as they work together to help Maya lose weight. Here is a pivotal scene that occurs after Maya has failed to meet her weight loss goals.
I hate you for doing this to me, Christian. Why can't you just answer the questions? Oh, you're costing me my weight loss surgery and you're ruining everything! Mom, Christian's everything up at the doctor's office.
You see all of that excellent emotion? That was real. It's very difficult to fake that believably. And I know it's not fake because there are other parts of the show where Maya is trying to fake emotions like anger, and she can't.
I can't believe this. They don't have the right car reserved for us. This is completely ridiculous. I literally cannot believe how much wrong information has been given to me about today and how so many people can screw up.
Allow me to break some of the magic of TV. All of these voiceovers are recorded after the show is already done. They don't do them while the show is going on because they don't know which scenes they're going to pick, and doing voiceovers for everything would be vastly more work. So we hear Maya describing what's going on after she is out of the emotional state she was in when she was experiencing that stuff, and she can't show proper emotion. Her voice is flat and not in the proper tone of someone who is actually angry. This means that Maya was being authentic when she was yelling and crying at her ex-boyfriend. If she was an actress, she would be able to show proper emotion in the doctor's office and while she was doing the voiceover. In fact, it would be better for ratings if she could. But she can't, and they don't hire actors who are that good because actors who are that good are busy making real money instead of doing reality TV. You can also see a lot of this go on in 90 Day Fiancé. Here's an example of real emotion from that show.
And Fisa got mad at me because I left her and I tried to go see the lawyer alone. What is the problem? I am coming back. I am coming back.
Try that yourself. Can you replicate that demon scream that Anfisa just gave? I certainly can't. There are all kinds of techniques that you have to use to put yourself in that emotional state. That takes tons of practice. One thing that stands out about 90 Day Fiancé is that if something interesting happens off camera, they will reshoot that scene, which, by the way, I don't consider fakery because those things actually happened. That's more so Hollywood magic. But if you pay attention, you can actually tell which scenes were reshot and which scenes were not. In the reshot scenes, their voices are flat just like Maya's was when she did the voiceover for My 600-Pound Life. That's because they aren't experiencing the emotions that they are trying to fake. It's more like they are trying to focus on bullet points to accurately recreate the conversation they had off camera. Now, does that mean that everything on 90 Day Fiancé is fake? No. The people on 90 Day Fiancé are real people who have real social media accounts and make a stink about the show not paying them because American law prevents the ones on visas from being paid. And I assure you, the ones who do get paid almost nothing for the show. But on that point of fakery, even ridiculous things like this are real.
The ideal girl isn't thinking that her ideal guy still lives at home in mom's basement, right? Mom! But I do. Not sure if you want to go on a date with me? Well, would a t-shirt change your mind? I made out with Skippy for 3 minutes, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Skippy likes to make t-shirts.
I do.
Did you make another one?
Yeah. Because I am, in fact, fun and single and ready to mingle. I want a girl to be like, wait, how are you still single?
Yes, this guy Skippy is a real person who has been making YouTube videos on basically the same idea for years. He still hasn't found his soulmate. So here's the big question. Why would they fake this stuff? Why would they use convenient editing or frame things in a certain way? Well, the reason they do that is to make the show sellable. Every single piece of media needs what is called a hook. Comedy has to have a hook, news has a hook, music has a hook, books have hooks, movies have hooks. A hook is something that catches your attention. If there is no hook, you won't consume the media because it will be boring. In fact, in terms of YouTube, a lot of really talented creators fail to build a following because they are simply not hooking their audience. When it comes to reality TV, a lot of times they have real people, but they don't have a hook, so they implant one. This brings us to the show I had to drop, which was Kitchen Nightmares. While the episode I was going to cover did contain real people, it contained a real failing restaurant with awful management and an awful chef. However, the hook that show used was implanted. This was a problem because my entire video was based on their hook. The show's producers know that Ramsay fixing a broken restaurant is not good enough. It needs something extra added to catch lots of people's attention. This is actually one of the major differences between the British version of Kitchen Nightmares and the American version of Kitchen Nightmares. The British version is way more relaxed and just gets to the point, whereas the American version is more edgy and creates a sort of story around the restaurant. I'm not saying that every episode of Kitchen Nightmares is like this, but in this episode, you can definitely tell the narrative is forced, and that almost made me initially refuse to cover it. It's too bad I didn't stick with that judgment. But instead of me telling you about it, let me just roll the intro clip I planned for that video.
Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares, a husband and wife team have lost their passion, not just for the restaurant, but for each other as well. The husband is drowning at work. Come on. While the wife prefers to avoid it.
Biggest problem in the restaurant right now would definitely have to be Lisa.
Mark's in the restaurant at least 10 or 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most of the time, Lisa is on the beach, down the Cape somewhere.
Mark and I's relationship has been better. Let's just say there's an indent on the couch from where he sleeps.
So the narrative for that episode was, lazy wife has her husband work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, while she takes vacations on the beach. When she comes into the restaurant, she doesn't work, she just texts on her phone and leaves after 2 hours.
She believes that she's doing a lot. She comes in the morning, a couple days a week. That's really it.
She's in 2 days a week, you're in?
7. I see myself struggling, and I don't know why she's not jumping in to help. I have to work twice as hard because she doesn't.
If their restaurant fails, so will their marriage. Okay, that premise right there is ridiculous and kind of like it was written for a movie. Their marriage isn't reliant on Ramsay's 3-day makeover to keep their restaurant in business. A segment of my script was dedicated to pointing out that the part about their marriage was probably just so they had an interesting story to tell for TV. Even if that story wasn't completely true, it still doesn't hurt the video I was going to make. So what if they made some parts up? They still had a failing restaurant, the husband and the wife were still severely unqualified to do their jobs, they still had a psychic in the restaurant for some reason.
Holy crap. Jessica?
Yes?
Is that a crystal ball on the table?
Yeah, she's a psychic reader. She gets paid through the restaurant.
Oh, wow. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good, how are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. I've never seen a psychic before. What was the first fortune you predicted?
My girlfriend was trying to get pregnant, and,
Okay.
And I told her I saw a girl, and she got pregnant with a girl.
I mean, the girl boy 50-50, so it's not that impressive.
I don't believe they made this part up. I have seen plenty of businesses do dumb stuff like this. So the false divorce narrative doesn't ruin the show for me because it has nothing to do with why their business was failing. The reason their business was failing was because Lisa wasn't pulling her weight. Except there's one major problem with that narrative. In order to make sure my videos are completely honest, I've fact-checked them multiple times. This was actually a major reason why the video I did on the island with Bear Grylls took over 2 weeks to make. I kept having to fact-check everything back against 13 episodes of source material to make sure that I got it all right. Even if you have already seen a piece of information, a lot of times 2 days later when you go to talk about it, you remember it incorrectly, so it's best to recheck things. When I was at the last part of editing the Kitchen Nightmares video, I was doing some final fact-checking to make sure everything was good to go, and that's when I found out that the hook of the episode was made up. It was what is called a lie by omission. A lie by omission is when a piece of information is intentionally left out of a story in order to mislead you. The media does this all the time. One famous lie by omission was the Covington kids case. The story was that 16-year-old Nick Sandman throws entitled smirks at a Native American who was just trying to show him some traditional music. This narrative led to tons of threats being thrown at a child. The only problem is that when you zoom out for a second, you find out that the Native American just all of a sudden got into this kid's face, and the look Nick Sandman is displaying is because he is uncomfortable. The zoomed-in story where they just show you the smirk doesn't tell you that. The reality is that this situation had over an hour of footage showing a lot of things happening on that day that the media intentionally didn't cover. In the Kitchen Nightmares episode, the lie by omission was that the reason Lisa wasn't helping her husband Mark at the restaurant was not because she was lazy, but because she was at home taking care of a child. She wasn't at the restaurant because she was a stay-at-home mom. After I found that out, I still gave the show the benefit of the doubt. Partly because I didn't want to throw away 50 hours or so of work. So I said, okay, her kid looks pretty old. He probably goes to school. Why isn't she helping out at the restaurant in the morning? The show said that Lisa shows up at the restaurant 2 or 3 days a week for only about 2 or 3 hours in the morning. Certainly she can do more than that. What time does the restaurant open? 8 a.m.? 9 a.m.? I did some more research and found out that the place opens up at 11:30 a.m. on weekdays, and 2 of those days out of the week, it opens up at 3:30 p.m. So for 3 of the weekdays, the restaurant would have been open for about 2 or 3 hours while her son was still in school. And of course, on the weekends, she would be at home watching him. This would be entirely appropriate and would be considered her pulling her own weight in the relationship. Now, this was filmed in 2012, so the show's producers may have been expecting Lisa to take on a more modern role instead of taking care of her kid. But seeing that their marriage narrative was probably also a lie, I'm assuming they intentionally omitted the fact that she had a kid to make the show more spicy. It's been 9 years, and from all the information I was able to find, Mark and Lisa still appear to be in a happy marriage, which actually makes this next clip make sense. I originally thought it was out of place.
Lisa, the balance isn't equal.
I want to turn her around.
You sure?
Let's just really work together on this, and let's make it happen. We can do it.
I'm excited to turn around.
People don't just flip like that. They don't go from being on vacation all the time and working 4 to 6 hours a week to working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was a major criticism of mine, but if you factor in that she wasn't actually lazy, then this makes sense. To be honest, though I don't philosophically agree, Ramsey may have been right. Their restaurant was in such deep water that both of them would have to forego their child and work insane hours for it to be a success. They probably didn't do that. I read that they changed everything back to the way it was before the show, so the restaurant ended up failing in 2016. I do want to stress, though, that the lie by omission doesn't mean the whole show is fake. It doesn't mean that Gordon Ramsay's advice is wrong either. On the contrary, I have used a lot of the principles that Ramsay preaches on that show for this YouTube channel, and I have to say, they work. What it does mean, though, is that you have to look at the things that you see on TV critically and make your best judgment. Don't just blindly believe everything you see. Now, there's one more big example of misinformation from reality TV that I want to cover, but before I do that, I want to add in a quick honorable mention. This happens constantly, and it very frequently causes me to cover material differently. Oftentimes, editors will mix in clips together to make it seem like someone was saying something that they didn't actually say, particularly when that person's off camera and people can't see their face. Here's an example from that same episode of Kitchen Nightmares.
The scary part is, I thought all our food was good. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
So I know that they do this, and even I had to listen to this clip multiple times to hear that it was pieced together. The part where Mark said, I thought the food was good, is edited. Listen to it again.
The scary part is, I thought all our food was good. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Now, they could have made this edit to shorten what he was saying, and that edit doesn't change the context of what was being said. I certainly do that all the time, which is why I link all of the source material in the description of every video so that everyone can see that I'm not taking people out of context. But in the case of Kitchen Nightmares, we can't see the source material for the show, so we have to keep a critical eye and note that Mark may have not actually said that. Okay, now for the final act. This is something I've wanted to talk about for almost a year. The reason I didn't talk about it before was because the truth destroyed the hook I was going to use for it. If there is no hook, no one will watch the video. If no one watches the video, it's almost like nothing was said at all. Usually in situations where I don't have a good hook that will sell a video, I talk about it in the community tab. It takes somewhere around 40 to 60 hours to make most videos, but only about 30 minutes to an hour to write out a community post. And I did just that last year when the show Tiger King originally aired. I was going to make a video about Carole Baskin and her ex-husband's disappearance, but after 3 or 4 days of work, I decided to drop the video because Tiger King's narrative wasn't true. I'm glad I finally have a reason to talk about it, because it turns out that Tiger King lied about Carole Baskin, and she has all the receipts. Certainly media will do little things to deceive you, but in this case, the producers of Tiger King just flat out lied. Shortly after the show aired, Carole got a ton of backlash, so she released this very lengthy article and a playlist discussing every lie Tiger King told about her and her business. There are a lot of them, so I'm only going to go over the major ones that people care about. If you want to see everything, the playlist and the article are both listed in the description. Let's start with the low-hanging fruit first, and then we will get to the story about Carole's husband, mostly because it makes sense to start with a narrative that Tiger King was trying to set. Something you do when you write a script is set a premise. A premise is a one-sentence description of the idea that you are trying to convey throughout your story. This helps keep you on track and remove ideas that are irrelevant to the plot. If I were to write a premise for Tiger King based on what I saw in the show, it would be, everyone who owns tigers in a zoo or a sanctuary is a horrible, horrible person. Joe Exotic is horrible, Doc Antle is horrible, so certainly Carole Baskin must be horrible too. That's how the show tried to paint her, and they had to throw down some serious lies to make their narrative work. The first lie they had to tell was that an animal sanctuary is essentially the same as a zoo, merely because both of them have animals on display. This is a big problem with media. They love to remove all context and nuance. Yes, Carole's sanctuary has animals in cages, just like Joe's zoo. However, the difference is that sanctuaries don't buy, breed, sell, allow public contact, or take the animals off-site for public exhibition. Zoos are there to make money by putting animals on display, while sanctuaries rescue the animals from terrible situations and either reintroduce them into the wild, or, if they can't do that, they provide the animals a place to live out the rest of their lives. In terms of tigers, the big moneymaker is tiger cubs. People want their pictures taken with the cubs, and they want to pet the cubs.
Next level.
Second this week. You can't put a price on holding a baby tiger.
That's his favorite animal.
I mean, I hit the lottery. I'll pay these people whatever they want for me to go down to the reservation every day and play with them.
After about 12 weeks, the cubs become too big and too dangerous to allow customers to be around them. That's the point where they can start removing people's limbs. So once the tigers hit 12 weeks, they are essentially a liability that makes zoos little money, and then you have to feed them for like 15 years. The tiger breeders will also lie and say that the reason they are breeding tigers is to preserve an endangered species, when it's really more about the $100,000 or so they can profit off of each cub in the 12 weeks that they are useful.
If people are concerned about tigers, they should be donating their money to places like mine, where we breed them. Number one, they're an endangered species. Duh. What's the first thing you should do to protect an endangered species? Make more.
In terms of conservation, we already have DNA saved so that future technology can repopulate them. So yes, tigers are an endangered species, but the problem is that tigers born in captivity cannot be released back into the wild. Here's Carole saying that.
I think it's important to point out that I don't believe cats belong in cages. And that's why I'm being called a hypocrite, because I keep saying cats don't belong in cages. And then they're like, well, why do you have them in cages? I have them in cages because they can't go free. One, it's illegal. You can't take a captive-born exotic cat and turn it loose in the wild anywhere. And while it may work for small cats like bobcats or lynx, it does not work for lions or tigers, despite the stupid programming that you may have seen on television that made it look like that's a thing. It's not a thing. Ask anybody who's involved in conservation, and they will say there is no program that has ever successfully released a captive-born lion or tiger back to the wild.
The reason why tigers born in captivity can't be released into the wild is 1, no one wants a tiger in their backyard, and 2, they haven't figured out how to reintegrate them. Certain cats can be released back into the wild, and Carole's Sanctuary Big Cat Rescue does do that. But as for the tigers, they have to remain in captivity. Another major difference between Carole's Sanctuary and a zoo is that if you dump a cat off at the sanctuary, she makes you sign a contract that says she can sue you if you ever purchase a big cat or breed one again. Otherwise, tons of tiger breeders would just keep dumping their cats off at the sanctuary as soon as they hit 12 weeks. But of course, Tiger King doesn't tell you that the sanctuary has to keep the cats because they can't be released into the wild. They also don't show you that the cages at Big Cat Rescue are massive. Instead, they show you the smallest part of the cage, which is the feeding lot. Here are some of the pictures that they show you. You just see the smallest part of the cage and you never see the full size. They even have Joe Exotic yell about how small the cages are.
Why would you give to a facility to rescue animals to live in luxurious cages? Well, how about that one? That mountain lion sticking his head through a hole in the fence in order to drink out of it.
Joe started bashing her, she started bashing him.
The crazy thing is that they had footage of Joe flying over Carol's property in a helicopter, so Joe knew how big her cages were. And certainly the producers knew how big the cages were because they spent a ton of time on the property filming Carol. My understanding is that the cages at Big Cat Rescue are far larger than Joe's cages. Here's how big Carol's cages actually are.
In fact, we had a bobcat that was in rehab, and I had her on a camera, and I was able, from the size of the cage, the rehab cages are 4,600 square feet, and so I was able to tell from the path that she took, in a single night, she traveled over 16 miles.
See, they are huge, but that doesn't follow the narrative or the premise. The premise is that all Tiger Zoo and sanctuary owners are trash, so they had to make Carol look like an insane person. This is how they introduce her.
Here comes Carol.
Oh, she's dressed perfectly.
More like this?
Then they go to this clip of her where her husband says this.
I think it would be fair to say that Carol is the Mother Teresa of cats.
So the first thing you see of Carol is them framing her as an insane hypocrite who is full of herself, which means you already don't like her, and if you don't like someone, it's easier to feed you lies about them, because people won't go through the work to fact check and defend the people they don't like. That's one of the major differences between my channel and most people in media. Every person I talk about gets the chance to make their case and defend their point of view. They all get a chance to convince me that I'm wrong. Originally, I was on the team that was against Carol Baskin until I saw her rebuttal. But of course, in terms of the media, we can't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Instead, the producers of Tiger King do this. They want people to believe that Carol has a zoo just like Joe Exotic does.
Carol, PETA, those characters want to attack everyone. Carol wants to be the last man standing. There can be only one, and it has to be her.
In my opinion, Carol Baskin was as bad as Joe. They were both, taking advantage of exotic animals to make money.
One of the ways they made Carol's sanctuary look like a zoo was they took a once-a-year event that Big Cat Rescue has and made it seem like that event was every day at the sanctuary. Here is Carol talking about that on her YouTube channel.
Some people take issue with the fact that we have guided tours. What Tiger King did was they showed a one-day-a-year event that we have where people are allowed to wander through the sanctuary. The rest of the time, all of our tours are guided.
You can even see her on Tiger King implying that this was a special event when she says this.
Because we're going to have so many people here today, we have brought in 76 of our own volunteers.
This is kind of implying that the amount of people there on that day is something unusual for Big Cat Rescue. They had so many volunteers that day because in order to let people roam free like that, there has to be a bunch of people making sure visitors don't stick their hands in the cages. Outside of that, Big Cat Rescue does guided tours that are very small. Most importantly, at the end of each tour, they ask everyone to talk to Congress about signing a bill that would put her sanctuary out of business. If Carol was trying to perpetuate the problem and was the same as a tiger zoo, she wouldn't do that. I'm not entirely sure why Carol does the tours, but I imagine it's not free to keep a ton of cats on your property, so the money has to come from somewhere. And as I suggested before, it's probably a way of promoting awareness to stop cub petting. But the horrible framing doesn't stop there. Remember, they want to paint Carol as the exact same thing as Joe Exotic, so they took footage from like 20 years ago of her breeding cats.
This is the VHS that she made back in the day. The last time I've probably seen it was 1996.
Our names are Don and Carol Lewis. We have really enjoyed our exotics. Throughout this tape, we'll show you how we take them from the mother, acclimate them to social life with people. They have to be taken this young from the mother in order to make good quality pets from them.
This is one of the major things that I hate about cancel culture. If you ever once did a bad thing in your past, then you are forever evil and can't be redeemed. Literally no one can live by that standard. Not even the celebrities that promote this kind of cancel culture. I've mentioned before that I listened to an old radio show called Loveline that had a ton of celebrity guests. I have heard many of them who would now be pro-censorship repeatedly use the F word just 15 years ago. F word is in bundle of sticks, not the swear word. I even have an episode of Loveline where super woke Jimmy Kimmel makes fun of transgendered people. I linked it in the description for you and timestamped it. Oh wait, I forgot. Your past behaviors only count if you are on the wrong team. As for Carol, yes, it appears that she did used to breed exotic cats. However, she learned it was wrong and stopped doing it. But they still use this as, see, Carol is just as evil as everyone else.
Back in the early 90s, she bred and sold cats. And it's so funny because the very people that are against breeding used to do the same thing.
Are people not allowed to learn things are wrong and stop doing them? Are people not allowed to learn from their mistakes? I will say that as a person who has made bad choices in the past and learned from them, the only kind of person who would suggest that someone is evil forever for making one mistake is someone who has never learned from their mistakes and has never corrected their own bad behavior. They think, well, I can't stop doing bad things, so no one else must be able to stop either. This is sick and disgusting, and it only shows you how immoral the proponents of cancel culture are. They are screwed up people who have no intent on fixing their own problems, so they just project their awful psychology onto everyone else. Alright, last but not least, the disappearance of Don Lewis. Speaking of framing, one of the things that Tiger King didn't really get into was that Don Lewis was a really, really bad guy. Don Lewis had many women in his life, but the reason his ex-wife, the one before Carol, filed for divorce was because he had relations with her 15-year-old niece. Also, Carol says this in her Tiger King rebuttal.
And then he insisted that our daughter, my daughter, live with us. And she hadn't lived with us since she was, gosh, I don't even know. Well, actually I do know, she was 12. And so when she was 12, she had her own trailer and she took care of all of her own dishes and her own food and her own laundry and everything. And she had a fenced-in yard and a dog, and she lived, right next to us here at the sanctuary. But I just thought it was weird that he was insisting that she be under the same roof with us, and I held firm. I wasn't going to let him have access to her, and I said no.
Carol was afraid that Don would get at her daughter, so she moved her daughter out of their house. Even if you look at how Carol and Don met, they met when she was either 19 or 20, and he was in his 40s. He picked her up on the side of the road as she looked distraught because she had just gotten into a major fight with her husband at the time. I will note that Carol is a trauma survivor, and she said that on Tiger King. Now let me say that if you think that Don Lewis just randomly found Carol on the street that night, then you don't know how abusers work. This guy was on the prowl looking for someone like Carol because women like Carol will accept his abusive behavior. And he did a ton of abusive things, which begs the questions. Why didn't Carol leave him after he lied to her about leaving his wife? Or after he gave her a fake name? Or after he cheated on her with tons of women? Or when she had to move her daughter into a separate place from their house to keep her away from him? Good questions. Questions that have no good answers. However, Carol openly admits to her mistakes and calls herself an idiot who was desperate for staying with Don.
I met Don Lewis when I was 19 in 1981, and he was 22 or 23 years my senior. He said that his wife had thrown him out when I met him, and we got involved with each other, and when he did end up going back to her, I should have ended it. If I had been the person I am today, I absolutely would have ended it. But I was a 19-year-old kid. I was stupid, and I was desperate for somebody who loved me, and I thought he did.
This is the most intelligent and mentally healthy thing I have heard Carol say. She didn't blame other people. She took responsibility for allowing an abuser into her life. These are the kinds of words people use when they have moved past their trauma. If they are still blaming other people for their mistakes, then they haven't done any real work. Now, when it comes to the accusations of murder, the evidence is pretty much nothing. By the way, since we are talking about mainstream media, if you think the mainstream media just conveniently started lying about everything in the past few years, the minute independent content creators could start fact-checking them, then think again. They have been lying the whole time. You just didn't know about it because the mainstream media controlled all the flow of information. One such lie they ran was that Carol put her husband in a meat grinder to destroy the evidence. To help perpetuate that lie, Tiger King shows a picture of a giant meat grinder when they talk about the story to make you think that was the size of the meat grinder that Carol owned. Here is the actual size of the meat grinder that they accused Carol of using to destroy evidence. Do you really think she could destroy anything with that? And oh wait, despite that Tiger King showed a massive meat grinder, they have a clip of Carol saying that her grinder was small. I guess they wanted plausible deniability in case she sued them for slander.
His own kids demanded that they DNA test the meat grinder. Sheriff's office wouldn't do it.
We had a meat grinder. If you've ever seen a Butcher Boy meat grinder, it's about that big around.
I'm not going to go into the rest of the conspiracy theories because that would be pointless. It's pointless because the investigators are saying this.
Is Carol Baskin a suspect right now? She isn't. She isn't even a person of interest at this point. We have no evidence to deem her or anyone else equally as important as a suspect in this case.
Even the Tiger King investigator, who seemed to be against Carol, said this.
I cannot tell you that we have zeroed in on any particular suspect. I'd be remiss if I said that. There is absolutely no physical evidence at this point in time that would point at one particular individual.
Again, if you want to hear every rebuttal Carol has, her playlist is linked in the description. Which now brings us to the question of motive. Why would Carol want to make her husband disappear? Well, she was accused of doing so because she wanted money. There's just one major problem with that, which is that Carol was already really successful in real estate before Don Lewis disappeared. Another obvious point that Carol brought up in her rebuttal was that if she wanted money from Don, all she would have to do was divorce him. When his ex-wife divorced him, he essentially gave her whatever she wanted. That ended up being around $1 million worth of cash and property. Carol could have easily gotten the same or more. What likely happened is this. Don's ex-wife Gladys blew through her divorce settlement in about 5 years, so she went after him for more money. Don disappears, and it turns out that he had signed a paper that said in the event of his disappearance, Carol gets power of attorney. Here is a document that says that, and when they show it on Tiger King, you can even see that they edited over it to mislead you. This left Carol in a position where she got control over Don's money. Don's ex-wife wanted that money, therefore she went on a smear campaign to accuse Carol of murder in an attempt to get access to the money. When in reality, Don was a really bad guy. He probably had tons of enemies, and one of those enemies caused his disappearance. That or his ex-wife Gladys did it. She certainly had more of a motive than Carol did, though I think that's unlikely. Before I get to my last point, I do want to say that just because this stuff was a lie, doesn't mean that the entirety of Tiger King was a lie. We know that Joe Exotic is a bad guy. There is plenty of evidence of him doing some really awful stuff on camera that needs no context, like the dozens of examples of him misusing firearms. Unfortunately, I can't show those on YouTube, but there are plenty of instances of that in the show. One where he almost accidentally shoots one of the cameramen. So that stuff's not false or framed improperly. However, the more stunning thing is that I can point out just how garbage the producers of Tiger King are. Remember that I said that the reason some of these reality TV shows reframe, lie, or misrepresent information is to create a hook that will catch the attention of viewers. If you know anything about storytelling, then you know that they didn't have to lie about Carol to make the story interesting. There are a few story arcs that work and sell well. One of them being drama, which is the story arc that Tiger King chose. Another is a hero story. That being said, here is how you reframe Tiger King so that it's an honest story, but it's also interesting. Every good hero story contains a lie that the hero believes. The story arc is the journey of him discovering that lie and replacing it with new information that leads him to a happier life. An example of that would be Harry Potter, who believes he can do everything by himself, but by the end of the series, he learns that there is power in numbers. Lies can also be told to the audience. In fact, if you make the audience believe a lie and then reveal that falsehood later in the story, you call that a twist. That leads to a lot of very good story arcs. So the way you start Tiger King off is to frame Joe Exotic as the altruistic hero. Tigers are an endangered species, and Joe is breeding them to help them repopulate. Dedicate 2 episodes to that. Then, on episode 3, you pull back the curtain and show the audience who Joe really is. Now they see the guy who was portrayed as a hero is actually a villain. This kind of hook catches people's interest because it disturbs their view of the story, and it actually reflects reality. A lot of real villains pretend to be the hero, and you can see tons of successful stories using that narrative. Off the top of my head, Walter White from Breaking Bad. He starts off as just some nice guy who is trying to pay for his cancer treatment, but as the show progresses, we see Walter is a pretty evil guy. So you paint Joe Exotic as a hero, you reveal him as the villain on episode 3, and once he's revealed as the villain, you introduce the new hero, which is Carol. Someone who actually wants to help the tigers instead of exploiting them for money. There, now you have an honest story that is also interesting. But they aren't going to do things like that. Why? Because honesty is costly, time-consuming, and it takes more skill. First of all, a narrative that says everyone is evil is a lot easier to carry out than a narrative that has nuance. Real honesty is difficult. I mean, look at what I had to do to be honest. I had to drop 7 days of work, I had to lose money, I had to lose a ton of potential followers that the video on Kitchen Nightmares would have brought in, a video that, by the way, no one would have questioned me on. If I lied about that Kitchen Nightmares episode, no one would have Googled the owners of that restaurant to find out that they had a kid. I had to go out of my way and do several searches to figure that out. It would have been easy money to just lie. Even with the Tiger King stuff. I lost 3 days of work on that last year, and everyone already believed that Carol was the villain. Continuing that narrative would have been easy, and a lot of YouTubers did that without listening to her rebuttal. Not to mention, to make sure that I was being honest for this video, I had to go back and listen to Carol's playlist all over again, and I had to re-watch Tiger King. That took 2 days of my time when I could have just simply gone off of memory and gotten a ton of stuff wrong. Honesty is hard work. It's much easier to profit off of lies instead of spending a ton of time fact-checking everything. It's easier to go for low-rent drama than it is to invest your time into building enough skill so you don't have to lie to make a story interesting. Speaking of, you'll see the mainstream media, especially the news, lying because it's easy all of the time. There is no investigative journalism anymore because it's much easier to just sit at home and make up a story that fits your narrative. If your narrative is wrong, well, then just lie to make it correct. And people will believe you because most people don't fact check stuff. Whether or not they believe what's being said is based on what they think of the presenter. People do that because no one has taught them how to look at information critically, which is probably by design considering authority figures didn't just start lying yesterday. If people knew how to fact check them, they wouldn't get away with it. The reason I'm as honest as I can be and I go way out of my way to make it as easy as possible for you guys to fact check me is because you can only lie for so long before the entire system breaks down. These MSM people are profiting off the good faith that other people built up, and in so doing, they are destroying that good faith. If you want to have freedom, if you want to have a good life and own nice things, you can't do that by lying all the time. Truth is the mechanism that we use to solve problems, and if you lie constantly, you won't be able to figure out what's wrong with you. Spoilers, there's something wrong with everyone. No one is perfect. Eventually, you are going to have to do the work of confronting your own demons. So for me, when it comes to content creation, my job is to do all of the hard work and suffer the negative consequences of honesty, like losing a lot of material that I could have easily profited off of. I do this so that my viewers value truth, and I do so in the hopes that other content creators put in their due diligence to be honest. That way, the good faith that MSM destroyed can be restored. What it means for you, the viewer, and really everyone, is that you have to start putting in the work to be critical of the material that you are being presented. Don't just blindly believe stuff. Look into people's claims and see them for yourself. If you don't do this, you are ripe to be misled. If you aren't doing this, start now. Feel free to fact check me. All of my sources are in the description. But don't just look at my sources. Tell other creators you watch to cite their sources too, and ask for transparency. If they don't do that, stop watching them. Change always starts with yourself, and if you want all these media corporations to stop lying to you, then start fact-checking them and stop being so easily misled. If you weren't so easy to fool, they wouldn't get away with it. But with that said, I think that's enough for this video. So if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment and share. If you would like to support this channel, then you can do so with PayPal, Patreon, or Subscribestar. You can find all of those links in the description. Last, if you haven't checked me out on BitChute, Parler, or Minds.com, you can also find those links in the description. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Dog stick for the kids in the way. Got about 3 side hoes in the condo, and they all want a piece of the game. Could give 2 fucks by the bitch in the shadow. 3 months and they all wanna talk now. I'm a change ass kid for the heat now. Got your main ass bitch on speed down. About 3 damn fucks I'll give now. While they talking for the 1,000th time, bitch, know your place here. I got some shit to do, a nigga staying on my case here. That's when I look to you. Ass so fat, I'm such a fool. Nigga, please don't look my way. Please don't look my way. Please don't look my way. I don't know where to go. People talking on the low. Lots to show, that's how you know. I've been that kid from head to toe. Why you always talking slow? I got plenty other bitches. Fuck the snitches. I don't want no business with no fucking foes. Cash, I'm getting 24/7. Bitch ass niggas tryna take my setting. Pussy ass kids tryna break my cool. No respect for the trends I'm setting. You don't know my code name. So yo bitch, she's so lame. Tried to switch, that's okay. I'll catch you fucked up one day. Dog slick for the kids in the way. Got about 3 side hoes in the condo, and they all want a piece of the game. Could give 2 fucks by the bitch in the shadow. 3 months and they all wanna talk now. I'm a change ass kid for the heat now. Got your main ass bitch on speed down. About 3 damn fucks I'll give now. Low key, but I fuck her with the lights on. Look back, see the cops got the chase on. Got the whole damn place on, place on. Homicide in the fence, put the tape on. Don't try my side, nigga. Can't trust no fuck, nigga. Drop top, pink lights in the bag. She ain't never gon' fuck for the cash. Cause she's so sexy, yeah. She stay flexing, yeah. I stay flossing, yeah. She just so unfair. I don't really care. Got my niggas, yeah. Don't press triggers, yeah. I stay pretty, yeah. You a trifling hoe. Ditch your trifling soul. Ditch that cold man. get the mama, then myself, each moment the past is fleeting. I try and attract you, escape my young life at this point, yeah, she call me Houdini. And always the top of me bleeding. I saw her for one man retreating. Back into the hole that I tried to climb out of it, always in touch of the feet. I'm addicted to sex, addicted to drugs. Really my devil will make me feel love. I don't care what you think, I don't give a fuck. I'm still out there shining as bright as the sun. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough. Don't disobey when I say give me the gun. If I don't let my demons out to breathe, I'll end up with some walls of pair of fuck waves. Come and visit me from time to time. So what the bitches I was ever with, yeah, you're still on my mind.
My boy.
Everyday bad news, everyday cash news. Fuck when I did this one every day. They fund that poetic shit, got the cold metal stick up in my brain. You didn't know it involved me. Yeah, I just wanna run away, but all I ever do is run in place. The tears I cried, they could've iced my chain. And on the best days I can feel my
The worst part about hell is not the flames, it's the hopelessness. And I think that is the part of hell that a person in depression really tastes, the hopelessness.
Wake up with the active face, pop 2 pills with Gatorade, round my neck, yeah, gator face. Might pop your more on a later date, but I don't know. Young slow, kinda go with the flow, bring her home backstage, tell her tell me everything you know about life, then I bounce. Roxy hitting hard, feeling fucking sick, what the happen now, just to balance it out. We be backing out, we be blacking out, all that fucking deeper, I think we be catching out. Glasses up and finger when they grab it like a grout, we be loving out. And all these cracking up, you can let the curtains down now, yeah. I wall up with Taro, ain't no tomorrow, Mr. Call from sick, I woke up in the gown house.
I just bought 10 Roxy's, call her body dinner. Chronic place with something, I'm like, fuck it, let me. Rolling down your block, it ain't shit for the center. Told that bitch get out my ear, she need a chillin'. Xanax bars up in my drink before I pour 'em. We never fuck with you, fuck boy, don't act like you can. Take that motherfucking bed upside your skull. So full of them drugs, I might throw up, I knew I shouldn't have.
Alright. I guess that we're gonna lights, but we got some.
There's what? He chops down trees? My boy. These are roses. What the fuck? Flip it. Okay. Between my lips and riding with the bitch the size me. She dugging out, she trying to sleep. I'm dugging out, I'm trying to see the road, but all I can see are 4 horsemen coming closer to me. I think I'm about to die with sick. Well, looks like I'm in a cave now. Oh, no I'm not. Okay. Yo, some logs here. There's 3 logs here. What the fuck, man? Can I drown myself or like what? Flip it. Alright. Time to drown ourselves, I guess. See if this works. Because I haven't saved, so I don't really like doing that all over again. Because that case about creeping. Oh. There we go, we died. Come on. Knock my ass out. Hurry up. Easy.
You must learn to obey. You must learn
Back in the floor.
You must learn. You must learn to obey.
Now that I know my loot, all my shit's just gone. Awesome. There's no like orange exclamation points, not like being blind, no. All my shit is gone. Right, okay. What the fuck, man?
The bloody mess. Keeping a motherfucking devil hot. Satanic mentality happily making the bodies drop. I'm on the block, circling cops, ready for dead demise. Screams resonate through the night.
so I can close my eyes. Hard to swallow when the hollows enter through your throat. Lately I wallow in my sorrow cause I cannot cope. The dope, the coke, the drink, the lean, the pills, the extra smoke. The broke, the choke, the pain away, I'm broken.
Alright, good game, good game. Cheers, Tom, cheers, guy. I'm not doing that all over again. I'm not. Well, that was fun. Let me get the keys to the Rover truck.
When these suckers leave, yeah, we can smoke a blunt and fuck. I'm busting nothing ashes. I'm to get the fuck about my grip. Yeah, it's a couple bucks. Bitch, I'm hiding up, creeping out the cup. Blood seeping out my cup. With the shot because you might escape the time begun. Because I'm busy puffing blunts, but soon enough you'll come back round. You screaming, like me up, please back me up. I got you something, start the flame and turn your body in the dust. Smoke your body in the blunt. Copy us, I light it up.
Free me. Release. Let me out. Burst into flame.
Reprogram your brain. Productive.
CS time, CS time. Let's have this make it feel a little better. 8 people, Inferno. Like this map and hopefully destroy it. I made you ink. What?
I'm an addict, so dramatic, and a manic, feeling panic. I need a Xanax, pass it as I hold it, real slowly, lonely, looking ghostly, surrounded by smoky. Mirror images of a fictionist, over me, don't give a fuck about harmony. I'm drug dealer.
Been on 14. I'm gonna put our team because I don't go 14 on team. Alright, let's roll. First game. Good flash, bro. Good flash. Good job, oh my god. No fucking wonder we're losing. Holy shit. God damn. Got fucking Navai in there as well. Such a fucking buttermilk, bro.
Counter-terrorists win.
You did, AK. Good man. You're winning. Don't you dare. It's good. Keep your skin.
Remove any doubts in your head. It's us, not them. Throwing smoke. Flashbang. Deploying flashbang.
Ruby keep pulling these songs all over the globe, but still I'm a local, this shit in my nose. All of the money, it comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. One day I'll be ready to gather my bones. Give me your hoes, say goodbye, your time to watch on the clothes. But that thing leave me close, all the time leave me alone.
Oh, shit, okay. Look out for that. Oh, it's so ugly. Oh. I understand I made ink now. That's a full here, man. This guy's not a 1 nitro in his soon.
Deploying flashbang.
this real quick. There's no mid there, but... Alright, found him.
Grenade! Flashbang.
Back to the tunes.
Throwing flashbang.
What's someone say? Just turn it down to this fucking. Let's hope no one comes at me. Or I might just die.
Flash can flashbang!
We got mid. I don't understand what, there's full B. And this guy can why you shouldn't boost people.
Bomb has been planted.
I don't watch this guy. I don't watch any of these people. Oh my gosh. Fair.
What are you doing, you dog?
What a timing.
Retake the site, bro, and defuse the bomb. Dumbass.
Yeah, retake that side. Defuse that bomb.
Should've just 1v4'd. Idiot.
I had the guy mid once. That sucks. Gun.
Grenade out. Smoke. Throwing flashbang. Flashbang.
Ow, ow, my feelings. Oh my god, ow, ow, ow.
On smoke shield.
Oh, up to 2 HP on the slowest round is good spot.
Incendiary out. Grenade out.
If this somehow burns me, I will cry.
Mid.
Interesting, you're sat on A. That's a good tactic.
There's one here.
Interesting.
Very interesting, you fucking nerd. What have you done, nigga?
Oh. Yo, you didn't just say the N-word, did you, man?
Oh, who's an edgy boy?
Who's an edgy boy? That was fun.
Push! Why are you saving?
Fire in the hole. Flashbang out. Use the bomb.
Too late.
Respectable
He's gone. There's no 14-year-old anymore. Should have joined that team.
Russ, you sound sus as hell.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, that's kind of a question I was asking. I guess I should have been more forward.
That was a question?
Yeah, that's I should have asked it as a question.
Sounded like a statement.
No.
Are you a sussy man?
On Sundays.
It's a Monday.
Not today then.
They're pushing.
Deploying flashbang.
10 HP.
Yes.
You have a smoke.
17 HP. How much I hit the guy for though? I fucking dinked him. I'm clipping that. I need to watch that back in slow motion. Clubber got slapped.
We are out of here.
You have smoke. You have smoke. Shut up.
Grenade. Throwing smoke. Throwing flashbang.
Wow, is there only one bullet in that M4, you twat?
Because I died?
How did you manage that?
Good flash, Russ. Good job, bro. How you doing? Goddamn, I miss you.
Rushing in? Or are we going sneaky beaky like?
Jump on my head, hey hey.
Deploying flashbang.
Ooh, almost.
Incendiary.
Two more.
Laying down smoke.
Mexico, man. Close, close. I'm blind.
Throwing flashbang.
Close.
Should have followed me in the smoke. Real gamers would have followed me.
Apps. And two.
Second mid. Could be underpass, could be up.
The last guy's 6 HP.
That's huge.
Did our teammate die from apps? I don't even know where he died from, I can't remember.
Counter-terrorists win.
Sheesh. Oh god. We're doing it. Doing a P50 strat.
We're going in. Throwing fire.
Yeah, they're pushing B. Take you just suck dick with the deck wish. This guy's cursor is so far, I can't see it.
Smoke! Smoking!
How the fuck?
Flashing through.
Well, that sucked. The my scout just gets shit on. After the lick it hits the acid in the fucking spear.
Throwing fire. Deploying flashbang.
Close left.
Incendiary out.
Yeah, he's a bit dominant. Run.
Fuck off. Oh.
T-Ram.
Who's your runner? You fucking dragger.
Yeah, shit. On AK.
Right in the man tussy.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go! Incendiary out. Deploying flashbang.
Yeah.
Throwing smoke! Incendiary. Flashbang out! Throwing fire.
Oh, cool.
Where the fuck did he go? Oh, where the fuck did they all go?
They started losing 2 rounds in a row, so they all had to quit.
Oh dear.
Kill him with the smoke, yeah.
I tried. He's not though. He's knifeable though.
He's dark, still.
Get
Just
your knife
him
in
at
there,
this
fella.
point, yeah.
No!
Fuck!
Damn, 1v3 got us. Nice, guys. Ugh.
Flashbang. I'm throwing smoke. I'm planting the bomb. Bomb has been planted. Throwing fire. Grenade. Terrorists win.
Nah, nice one. That was awful. Full lobby to nothing. Oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to deal with him on there. There we go. Oh, they're boosting. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the guy who killed me then? I didn't see him.
Watch out. These boys have got a bit of an arsenal and they don't mind using it.
Wow.
We're on. Deploying flashbang. Grenade out.
I'm dead. I want to find a full server. What happened to this? Damn it. Dead.
Yo!
Oh, what can I fucking join?
Time to do some good.
This guy's here. Anyone else is here though? I like train there.
Throwing flashbang.
That's embarrassing. Holy shit. Must avoid and must ignore that like to be from before. Timer. Stupid motherfucking quest. Hold up.
Move it.
I'm blind as hell. Holy shit. They're on me. Well, I tried. Definitely tried. Go on, continue. Oof. What the hell? They flashed the hell out of me. Hey. Youb. Flash again.
Let's do this by the book, people. Throwing flashbang. Flashbang out.
Defusing the bomb. Terrorists win.
The marquee letters falling down.
We are good to go. Grenade out.
It's gonna be B. It's gonna go Ivy.
Flashbang.
Oh fuck! Shit the mess.
All three Ivy, all three Ivy, all three Ivy.
I'm learning. They don't know the strats. You heard?
Grenade out. Incendiary.
The timing.
Terrorists win.
And she stated that she hated me too. Now it's boy I love you, but she saying boy I love you too. From the sex in my past, and the bitch I know psycho and like a lady. Looking back, she never
Bomb has been planted.
They're both gone.
Terrorists win.
The lady I work with has got fat ones in her ear. Like, big one. What, this big? I don't know how fucked how big that is, but it's... What the fuck is it? It's about that big. They're fucking big boys. Let's see if I find a picture of her. But she's, yeah, she works at yours and her ears fucking like zonked out. Big burgers in that bitch. Oh my god.
Fire in the hole.
That's a 4. Down after small. This is down 5 or 4. Ah, it's just winning occasionally. Did she? Did she switch out those places? I didn't even realize. I never looked at her face, to be honest with you. I was kind of, had my eyes closed. Just trying to keep closed and relaxed. So I was like, okay. I can close and I'll relax. Scared. When I find a picture of Lauren's ears, I'll show you what I'm talking about for hers. Okay. What's her name? Lauren.
Throwing smoke. Grenade.
Push shot. Take shit out of you. Stuck. Did she even have pictures of her face? Of her ears even? Oh, there you go, yeah. Fucking. No, don't pepper it, something.
How are you? Oh, I'm terrible.
I'm fine. Oh, itch. Where's the drain? Here it is. Little bro, what are you flashing for? Motherfucker, am I drawing on now? Okay, so like, there you go. If that sends, then that's how big our fucking everything is. It's big. Buddy like, so it's funny ever. Oh, yellow. Where'd you meet him? It's good people. Okay. I've heard this guy before. He's just hitting on me. Well, that's kind of sad. I just like 20 25 or something, so yeah. Just 10 years of experience to do it, I guess. And years of time to do it, so I'm like, what the fuck? Experience? Years of time. Oh yeah, by the end of the day. They sound big ones. I don't joke when I told you they're fat. I told you dog, they're fat. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, I can't see him. Oh, he's above me. Thank you.
Molotov! Get moving!
Oh man, can this game finish? I go. I don't know. Like. Easy, carries me. Yeah, play it.
Let's bring some pain.
Huh? Yeah, I think I'm a Medusa polo pajamas with the pockets. Money, but don't let that confuse ya, cause now I got a mouth to go, but baby, I'm shit on. Thank you.
No problem, my friend.
That sounds like a fucking boombox. Legging. Leg with the fucking. My bros. They're dead. That is painful.
I'm throwing a grenade.
Connector.
Disconnector. 12 HP. I never actually moved on the desk. Oh fuck, I voted for ancient. Oh my god, I'm killing myself. But generally, all my exos become my enemies. My next to jealousy from a couple of chicken history and so I have no idea last this.
He's a hobbit. Upper.
Dead now. I'm blind. Blind again.
Ivy.
My guy said Ivy, I'm just saying. Fucking Assassin's Creed, that guy though. Come on. One's behind zip 92. He's dead now.
Win or lose, the important thing is
This guy's doing fucking push-ups. He's going to. Sidearm. Headshot. 100%. What's his fucking kills? 5. That's not too bad. Good for him. I ain't playing the next map. I'm doing Assassin's Creed, I think. Hmm. It's so funny, I got 6 gold chains on. Oh, you have got ears. Nice. I thought you were lying. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not. I don't know what to play. I don't know what to play. Of course, it's a devious laugh. Oh man, I just don't know what to do. Anything. I don't know what to do. I should really be cleaning my room. I got 3 days left of work. I got 3 days left of work, and then I'm unemployed. So I think maybe I can just leave my room and clean it over the course of the next few days. Oh man, I can't be asked. I see if Josh wants to do that again. He's playing right now. I'm not even doing anything. What's so hard about spinning a knife that's not even like... I'm trying not to do anything cool because I'll break my monitor and I'll cry about it, so... I want to message him. What the fuck? What's the vibe on car sex? Not... Fuck. Go watch John Wick the Family Man guy. Oh fuck, we're watching. Oh fuck. Oh, hey, what up, dog?
What's cooking, my slime?
What's poppin', my guy?
What's virgin visibility? Yeah, Wick's tonight.
Okay.
Are you coming down to watch as well, or you just...
I don't know. I don't think John Wick's very good. I think it's just gonna be the same thing as it was the last like 6 movies I made, or 3.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Wait, is Sarah coming?
No, Sarah's still in the New Forest.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna watch it with her, which is why you're going downstairs to watch it.
No, I just feel like I don't spend enough time with family, so...
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
It'd be logical to go down.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna find something else to do.
Only fair, my guy. Only fair, only fair.
Yeah, blood. I might come to it with the shitty fucking John Wick movie.
Just get a good mobile game up and just sit there.
Good mobile game up.
I'll show you my phone games if you show me yours. Yeah.
I can't close your fucking chat for some reason. I should move it to the other screen then. Wow, it's really working out so good in my favor, man. This is getting so good. You think it's worth downloading Modern Warfare again?
Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I don't know, my guy.
Yeah, I don't know either, because my friend asked to do Overwatch. So I was like, okay, well. I think Overwatch is only quick play, and I think Overwatch is only cross-platform for quick play. So I think that'll be interesting. But I was asked to get it, so plus free game. Have you seen the Steam reviews on Overwatch being released on there?
No, not on Overwatch.
Oh my god, bro.
Why? Are they bad?
So there's 169,000 reviews. 9% of the reviews are positive.
9%?
Yeah, so there's...
Fuck, man. That's awful.
Let's just go 169... What was the number? 169... 759. 169... 759. Oops. 9% of... So 15,000 are good.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, to be fair, they were like, oh, Overwatch 2, like, brand new maps, like, so many new heroes, PvE, campaign, and then they just never delivered on any of it. And they were like, yeah, we basically did the exact same thing, and now, like, now you guys get to suffer with that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are very bad at following through with what they said, but all of, like, these reviews are all just like... I saw guys shit posting on TikTok. All of these were like, this game is just a knockoff of Paladin. Someone put Overwatch, but he goes down to over W, and he goes down to overwhelmingly negative. That's his whole review. Someone said better off downloading 34 gigabytes of Overwatch porn than the game itself.
Some people got some funny reviews.
Someone recommended the game and said, "Why are you looking for positive? Go switch back to all comments." They removed the fun just like they removed women's rights from Blizzard. Okay.
Oof.
I don't understand that one. Maybe there's something deep behind it. The people who make Overwatch porn work harder than the people who make Overwatch. The only reason it exists on Steam is so you can give it a bad review.
Oh, they are rinsing these poor guys. Oh, I need a good ulti. Holy shit. That's a whole load of... Oh, come on.
Some guy just listed off all the games you could buy for the same price as this game. Or for like for the PvE game mode.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you're better off buying any one of these games because this is shit. Essentially what he said. And he said, if you're willing to drop $20 for a skin for a single character, they don't even have unique animations, just slightly different voice lines. You could drop $25 for Risk of Rain 2.
Well, that's fair.
Free loot boxes. Love seeing the community working together so well because everyone's disagreeing with this game. I have 3,000 hours in Blizzard Kind. I love this game. I'm so let down with it by the entirety of Overwatch 2. So I stopped playing the game I love because of corporate greed. Do better. That's just sad. 3,000 hours. You know you put money into the game. You've got 3,000 hours. I mean, I've got 2,000 on CSGO and I've spent too much money in that game. So...
They have...
3K.
Yeah, they did a lot. Well, they did too much in terms of skins and shit.
They didn't do enough. They need to do better. I mean, even Valorant's got better skins. And that game is shit. Like, their skins are Valorant. You pay £80 for a skin, but you get, like, you know... You don't get what you pay for, but you get what you pay for, in a sense. Game is
in a sense.
2016, game is good, porn is good. 2023, game is bad, porn is still good.
Oh, brother.
Instead of wasting your time and money in this game, here's a recipe for a Black Forest cake or the Portal cake. And he just lists up the recipes for the cake. He actually just posted all of it. If I had your Discord, you'd get a picture of this newly baked cake.
Game over. Alright, looks like I'm heading down.
You go downstairs now.
Yeah.
I'll be there shortly.
Alright, Kurt. See you soon.
See you soon, baby girl. Starships are meant to fly. Modern Warfare 3 mixed reviews. I just want to buy these games for the campaign, man. No, I went down at the other Modern Warfare just to do the campaign again. That shit was sweet. Mixed reviews. They really should have thought through calling it COD points and making it shortened to CP, because that should just sound bad. This should sound bad. Yeah, it looks like egg. Boom.
Oh, Chat, last chance.
Oh fuck, it's an hour long.
We've all had moments where we haven't felt comfortable in our own skin. But what if you spent every minute of every day
Empty is the name of the song. Tom Stevens, resident psychotherapist. Scram, Ruby, all of us together to heal mental health. We're going to spread it to the world without further ado. I'm excited, Suicide Boys. You did good, Slick.
I live for this guy. He's not gonna like the ending though, I don't think, because it's all about Christianity.
Oh man. Looks like New Orleans to me, like the old school kind of mansion thing going on here. Got the projects working, possibly where they grew up, maybe. Let's see. I just never want this video to end. Oh, look at that Mercedes. Oh man, that was an old school car. I'm not gonna stop. I just had to take it. Look at, because that's the kind of car that was around there on the right that was when I grew up. Okay, I'm not stopping. Yep. This is flashbacks for me, but I'm getting to see them in person, like live in color. Addicted to drugs, addicted to sex. He's got to have everything. Oh. This is, I mean, just to watch this video, see Ruby getting up. Audie's making him some coffee there on the little kettle, maybe some tea. I don't know. How do we make it through the day, y'all? Listen to this. Waking up out of bed. Yep. One of my favorite lines on that song is when I tried this. Such a good line. I want to know who wrote, like, I know they sing different verses, but are they writing their own verse? Or is one person writing this and writing it for the other person? Like, how do they do that? But when you say, I try to escape my own life, like, people, you should just call me Houdini. That's how good, you know, the magical magician who could just make anything disappear. I try to escape my life. Such a good, that is such a good line, y'all.
Back into the hole that I tried to climb out, living up as it's self-defeat. I'm addicted to sex, addicted to drugs. Really, my never will make me feel love. I don't care what you're thinking, I don't give a fuck. I'm still out there shining as bright as the sun. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough.
What is foul play is America's doom? Look at this setup, man. You got Ruby to Cherry. I don't know what he's doing there, but it's like he's writing things. I don't know if he's writing lyrics. He's got these pictures in the back, very nice pictures on the wall. Nice little office setting. Nice phone. This is my favorite Suicide Boys ever. This entire thing. The Razor no longer part 5, because everything is so truthful, and I want people to hear this in life, that you've got, if you don't hear anything else, you got to hear this. When it says it always ends up self-defeating, I'm addicted to sex, drugs, whatever makes me feel loved, it shows like I'm empty. I just try to fill myself with whatever I can to make myself feel better. And it's so honest. He's so honest and vulnerable with that to me. Not that he's trying to be vulnerable, he's just trying to say, this is where I'm at. I don't care what you're thinking. Honestly, don't. And that's what I love. What other people think about you is none of your business. You shouldn't worry about what other people think about you. You should worry about you and what you want to get out of life. Not taking from other people, but honestly being the best person you can be and making the most out of life. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough. I keep going down these lyrics, but then the gun thing comes in. It's just incredible.
Yep. Yep. Back into the hole that I tried to climb out, living up as it's self-defeat. I'm addicted to sex, addicted to drugs. Really, my never will make me feel love. I don't care what you're thinking, I don't give a fuck. I'm still out there shining as bright as the sun. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough. Don't disobey when I say give me the gun. If I don't let my demons out to breathe, I'll end up with some walls of power.
Dude, does he look good? Look.
If I don't let my demons out to breathe, I'll end up with
Look at Ruby to Cherry, the spinning necklace thing going around. I really want one of those and go to the concert like that. I'd look really stupid, unlike him. He just looks cool, period.
If I don't let my demons out to
Demons,
breathe,
gotta let them out.
with some walls of power, fuck away.
Yep.
Come and visit me from time to time. To what bitches I was ever with, yeah, you're still on my mind.
Yep. Come on, Scram. 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 Scram.
Think I've been going insane. Popping and smoking and drinking this high. Been coping and dealing with pain. Starting along with my mom. Yeah, I just be hoping to buy another day working and wasting away the exact thing that I wanna buy. That's time. Yeah, I'm in it double up.
The thing this does that the other songs don't, when you don't get to see the video, is you get to see their face. Like I see him contemplating. He gets out of bed. It's like he's just contemplating. Like he's thinking, what do I have? Like, what am I in this world? What's my life about? What am I going to do with this? Oh. I didn't even see this before. Dealing with pain. Snort up a line with my mom. Just hoping to bond. What a line. Like doing anything I can to bond with her, just to be able to click. And man, did that really happen, y'all? God. No. Man, he's going at it. Now it looks like he's going nuts because either something's not working right, he can't get it done. Cooking up my frontal lobe. Y'all, frontal lobes are not for cooking. That should not happen. This thing needs to stay intact for really good critical thinking, please. There he is. Woo, yep. Run in place. in the cathedral here, like in church, up at the altar there. This looks like one of the old school Catholic churches, you know, that are built that way. Up at the cross, up at the candles, like they're lighting a candle for somebody. Ruby's already there, and here comes Scrim.
The worst part about hell is not the flames, it's the hopelessness. And I think that is the part of hell that a person in depression really tastes. The hopelessness. Like terror.
That I haven't forgotten since I listened to the song.
Sweet. Sweet Jesus.
End stream. Bye bye, everyone.